everybody, I'm at the lake house again and I'm going to do a new recipe, and this time my friend Denise is going to do her Brie recipe. Denise doesn't have a name.
Brie and Croute.
Brie and Croute. So I'm going to turn it over to Denise and here we go.
I'm Brett's friend Denise and I'm going to teach you how to make Brie and Croute. It's Brie in a puff pastry shell. So anyway, get some puff pastry in the freezer section of your grocery store, and it's going to come in big squares like this. Just follow the instructions to kind of let it thaw out and get ready for you to use. The other prep work that I do is I'll get some pecans, and that's about a half a cup, and put them in a frying pan with a little bit of butter and just toast them slightly and put a little bit of salt on them, and then they're going to be ready for you when you need those. The other thing I have is a little bit of some sort of jelly. It can be apricot, strawberry, raspberry, any kind of jelly you like. Grape doesn't usually taste so good. So just a little bit of jelly. I use a sugar-free, just all fruit type of jelly. You also need 1 egg white, which I don't have, so we're going to be substituting today. So what you'll do is you'll take your round of Brie. It doesn't have to be a round. It can be any shape you want. And you can just use it just like this and put it on the puff pastry, but I like to get rid of some of the rind. I don't know why, I just don't think it looks like something I want to eat, so I take it off. So Betty is going to take all of that off, and you just
everybody remember Betty from our lake pizza. Oh,
hello
look,
again.
She looks different.
While Betty's doing that, we are going to preheat the oven to
I'll do it.
Jill's going to preheat the oven.
And there's my friend Jill.
Jill's going to preheat the oven to 375.
That'll work like 375.
Like 375. I'm going to take my pecans and I put them down on my puff pastry shell first. My hands are clean. Just put them on like that. You can use almonds, and I toast those too. You can use walnuts. That's all I've ever tried, but you can really do any kind of nut. I've also chopped up Granny Smith apples and cooked them with apples and pecans or walnuts and cinnamon and made like a little topping to go in there. Then I'm going to take a little bit of my jelly, and I don't have any specific measurement. Look, we'll see how much it looks like. Maybe a 1/4 cup of jelly. Just kind of put that on there. And then we're waiting on Betty.
It's coming.
No pressure.
No pressure. Jill is going to melt me,
Stuffing her face.
just melt me like a...
Can't edit that, Jill.
Yeah. Jill's going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter for me to use instead of an egg white. Okay.
It's supposed to be in this picture.
So take your Brie and put it on your puff pastry. If this is a really large Brie, I don't usually use one this big. Most of the time your Brie can totally wrap around this, but this time we're going to use a little bit of this other sheet. I just kind of pull it up and wrap it around. Actually, it will fit. You can kind of stretch it to fit, but sometimes when you bake it, it'll open up. So just pinch the seams pretty good so that it is all together. And then it's best to spray your pan with a little bit of cooking spray before you put your puff pastry down on there. Set that like that. And then since it's March and we have St. Patrick's Day, I have a little cookie cutter. That is a little shamrock. And so I usually put some sort of, you can put any kind of cookie cutter. I have like a little Christmas tree at Christmas. I have a little star. I have one friend named Tony, Jill's husband. I always make him one of these for his birthday, so I put a star on it if I'm making a birthday Brie. I've also made, if I was having a dinner party, I've made little teeny tiny individual Bries for people and put it on a plate with a salad, and that's really good. So just make little ones and they're really cute. So
Do they come that small? Or do you
I just cut it up. I just cut.
Okay.
You can cut this up into any shape. It all basically, once it melts, it turns round.
Okay.
So you can cut it up into little shapes. I've made them square before. I've made triangular ones. Just whatever shape. If I have part of a
Finished
Brie.
product after she's decorated it. And then what's next?
Next, I would use egg whites on top, and I would brush egg whites all over the whole sides and top and everything, and get it and be pretty generous with it. Just brush it on there. I don't have egg whites, so I'm gonna put a little bit of butter because I'm gonna put cinnamon on it, and the only reason to put the butter on there is just so my cinnamon will stick. But the butter will work just fine. The egg whites kind of make it a little bit shiny when you do that, and it just makes it just basically just makes it pretty. You don't have to have them. You don't even have to have the cinnamon on it. But why would you eat food that's not pretty? So, mixture of cinnamon and sugar, and just sprinkle that all over the puff pastry, the brie. And I usually am pretty generous with it because it kind of melts and makes like a little crust, and it gets good. Trying to get too much on your pan because it will burn and smoke up pretty bad. In the oven, I usually do about 375, and I keep my eye on it, but usually it takes about 20 minutes for the puff pastry to puff up and start to brown. And then at that point, the cheese will kind of melt in there, and then we'll look at it again when it's out. We baked this in the oven for about 25 minutes. We ended up taking about 5 minutes longer than I said earlier, I think, at 375. And you just serve it with sliced pears, apples, crackers. You can use little bread rounds, just about anything that you want. When you cut into it, you can see the brie is melted, and then you just dip in and
Yum! Oh!
put that on a cracker.
Ooh, take a bite.
And you give it to Betty.
Oh!
Yumma!
All right.
And actually, this could use another minute.
Delicious.
And Jill, would you like to take a bite?
Take a bite, thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.